Welcome back to the series of I am currently refactoring a bunch of my functions that let me track my shows into a class in a more better way. Every time it's a worse title. So this episode is the last one and I finally finish it all. And you get to see it in its completion. Have a watch. Because this will be a parameter. So let me till this. I'll grab it to and now I just have to remember that is cut into the N register. D9 down. Validate this, validate set input. And I just pass it, so I don't have to worry about forgetting anything. It's first that and then this. What? Oh yeah, because register. Perfect. Validate set input. This is what we're validating, and this is how we're validating it. Perfect. And in this case, first of all, I forgot a space in between. It doesn't really matter, but I like consistency, as any good programmer does. I fucking love that laugh so much. Delete a quotes regex. I'm just gonna call it regex. And here it is. I don't think there's any other changes that I need to make there. And paste it. No. Why did it jump me? Okay, so we pass the regex. Wow, this is coming to be far better than it was before. Fuck, it's much longer though. But it's easier to read. And it's drier. I had a big issue with my shows functions because they were so wet. They were incredibly wet. It's insane. Now, not as much. There are still things that are somewhat wet, but an acceptable amount. So validate set input. Wrong. If it's not wrong, return the match. I want to rename show an episode. Show an episode. There are two different compress. So, as always in programming, the most difficult thing is naming stuff. There are two pieces of information in this case that we want to separate into two pieces of information, but separate. To separate. In the constant, if we don't have the context of how this is being used, this is not really a good explanation. So no, not to separate. You know what? A plain and simple input. Yeah. Simple is often good. So this whole bullshit so these two lines are not needed because if not match what we get from this validate set input, we pass show and downloaded with the regex of, I think I just, no, I don't have it. So delete boom. Goofy I pasted. Like, where does it get another space? Oh, because of still another space. Cool, now it doesn't. Perfect. Still kind of whack. Oh, nothing. So these are the only two things that we need. If isn't match, then we return false. As no, actually, I want to return flasse. Looks cooler and sounds cooler, most importantly. We get the match. Now we do a gaip. Boom. And we just boom, boom, boom. Delete. Now it's just match. We go show and download it. This is not needed. Neither is this. Let's go to the start. This shows, and we get. What do we need? Oh, if. Wow, and a title case if. That's new. If not this, validate. You know what? Let's do a smart move of moving this into the class so we get the autocomplete. Because I forgot. Is it validate show? It is. Should have been in the class a long time ago to make stuff easier. But I guess it wasn't that much of an issue. If not validate show, we pass show that we now have. Then this creates blank show. We don't need this. And this shows show downloaded. This is just this apply JSON, and boom. Now the scariest part is the this should work part of it, because indeed it should work, but I most definitely forgot something. First of all, any wrong calls where I still have the show prefix. Doesn't look like it. Yeah. The fateful reload. Let's see the errors. Which one? Local shows. Okay. 430. Yeah, it's a simple fix. What's the next error? What? Oh, I see. That's for the implementation of how I use it. Yeah, let's get to it. Runner, which is what I use this all for, or rather, what I use to use that. Let's find shows. Here it is. Now it's not show, but show. Shows, get shows. You know what? I like just get. Shows get. So let's rename that. Get shows. No, even better, get list. So get list. That should now work in theory. Show. Oh, well, isn't that incredibly nice? Let's do it even nicer, so I don't have to. I can just have it all in one side, remove the show, and that's it. Basically, we do this, and we replace it with shows. Is that actually the name of the... No, it's just show. Well... We're gonna just rename it. I don't use that name anywhere else anyway. 6 down. Add this here. So we create the shows object, and that runs, that set link, set episode, set downloaded, delete show with true. At least by my calculations, it should work. Supposedly. Let's try it out. Shows. That works. Perfect. Let's create a new show. Link new show, or rather new show to be more dangerous, and 2 spaces there. Interesting. Nothing happened. Why exactly? Set link input. Does set link not work? I'm probably gonna split this video into at least half, if not more. I'm completely brain rotting. So what's happening here? Set link. Return false. Something is returning false. Validate set input. Let's check. It does compress spaces. So the match exists because if it didn't, we would get an info saying wrong. Okay. So it returns false here. Let's do an info. There's no show and link object. And let's try again. Link new show and link. Now it's simply okay. In this case, I might not be running this at all. Let's call an info. Actually, before. Info. This ran. Reload this. Link. New show. GHM. Boom. So this does run. Shows set link input. I'm very confused on why this is not working. Create blank show. This shows should exist by all accounts. And apply JSON should work as well. That's quite weird. Okay, let's do it more directly. Shows create blank show. New show. Does this work? Oh, create blank show. We create this show object and show object apply JSON. Let's check this out. Okay, that works. Interesting. So create blank show works, and so does apply JSON. We do run this indeed, so we can remove this. Boom, perfect. So that is run. Create blank shows and apply JSON work. There's something in set link. Where is it? Yeah, set link. It doesn't reach this, which is really weird. Link, new show, GHM. So this ran, supposedly. Okay. Now inside of set link. Let's reload this. Link, new show, link. So it gets to here, but doesn't get to here, because shows link is true. Info, show, or rather show, and link is true. Am I thinking about this correctly? New show, GHM. So it is true. Perfect. If not, validate show, create blank show. We created the blank show. It is always the stupidest ass shit. I simply forgot to pass an argument. The reason why we don't get errors is because these are function objects here. I think I can, yeah, I can select like this. These are function objects. And when you call them from within a map instead of a catch statement, I'm not sure of the exact things, but basically a bunch of errors get muted when I'm using the runner. So debugging by using the runner isn't the best solution, but it's the way I use it. So yeah, I simply forgot to specify the show, and no errors were popping up, as you can see. And that's not the only place where I forgot to make that change. In set downloaded, I didn't forget about it. Here I did though. Validate set input should be before any sets. Okay, so now it should work. Link, new show. There's the link. No new show? What do you mean no new show? What? Link. New show. No new show. Well, that's confusing. I completely forgot what that means. Well, first of all, let's delete those because we don't need those anymore. What does... Oh, I confused myself. So if false, if false, we create a new show, meaning that we don't need this error message. However, it didn't get created. So if there is no show, we create it. We set to that object, which is a map, so we use set show Technically, it expects a map, but I'm giving it an object. Used to work, so it should continue to work. Okay, this shows show link. I'm accessing a map even though I created an object. I am not sure if that matters that much. Let's change that. So let's delete that. Place inside Word. Episode. Then we do and downloaded. We also replace with that. Now we set a map, which is what it expects. Let's try it again. Show or other link. Link, new show. Holy fucking shit, I am a genius. So the fact that I used an object and then referred to a map actually made a difference. I've been learning C# recently, and I recognize more and more that working with it is more sane because I don't have to guess nearly as much as I do in HK. There would be so many errors all over the place that would let me know what's happening. Here I just had to guess what I'm doing. Starting with HK made me a better programmer, in my opinion, because I think of more things and can see things more clearly than if I started with C#, for example. But it's definitely not the best thing. Okay, so we created a shell. I shouldn't delete it myself. Let's app new show 3. And downloaded also changed dd to show the downloaded property. New show, I downloaded up to 6. The episode doesn't change with that, which is expected. Okay. So I changed the episode, I changed the downloaded, I changed the link. Anything else that I want other than deleting the show? Well, running the show should just work. If it doesn't, it will. Well, it won't with that link, that's why I'm not testing. Well, I guess then show one piece. Yep, it works. Right? Yeah, yeah, it works. So we can just dlow new show. Oh wow, that rhymed. And now consumed should have that without being dropped. Yeah, everything works and is written in a much better way in my opinion. Now, if you remembered, I wanted to say at the beginning of the video, but no, this is like more than an hour long. 1.5. So yeah, most definitely this is going to be the third video of the of a playlist where I make this thing. This took far longer than I expected it to. So in the first video of the series, whole series, I wanted to have a date value, date and time, and so it changes every time I change the episode. So first of all, here is what is going to be. So time stamp, and it's get date and time, and let's see what that is. It's get date and then get time, which are exactly what I want. So first, when I add a show, whether it's by setting the link or setting the episode or setting the downloaded, it will have the time. It will have the time it appeared there for the first time, which is really nice. And then the only place where I want to change that timestamp is if I set episode. So essentially here, this shows show time stamp is get date and time. Yeah, and that should be all I want actually. However, by far none of these shows have a timestamp. They will once they get created from now on, but if I try to use this code right now and update any episode, I would get an error because there is no timestamp. Usually in this situation you would implement that, but actually it's just much simpler to do it manually. So this is what I'm going to do. You gotta know when what you're doing even makes sense or not. So let's... How do I want to get... Oh, I guess I can just copy the whole line. Yeah, simple enough. Paste it here. Perfect. Now it will have the timestamp of where I last changed that. Let's try it out somewhat safely. First of all, we reload. No errors. That's perfect. Episode One Piece 637. I would like it to be above the link, but it doesn't matter that much. The reason why I don't have control over it, I think, wait, at least I think I don't. Do I not? The last time I checked, the order that you set in a map is not the same. So in an array, the order is preserved. In a map, not. So episode, link, yeah, see? Episode, link, and then I said downloaded timestamp. And in reality, it's downloaded episode, link, and timestamp. Just kind of whack, but it is what it is. The timestamp has changed. Now let's change it back to the actual episode that I watched. Well, I'll still remember about that. Perfect. Fuck, I love this. Thank you for embarking on this adventure with me in figuring all of this out. In my video about search, I showed you the result of a refactor and why it's good. But here, in these 3 episodes of this show, I showed you the process you will more or less take when changing a bunch of functions into a class. What things you will have to look out for example, forgetting this, what you can use to your advantage, the new method that holds the thing that you need pretty much always, and separating stuff into methods that have a single priority, at least as much as you are comfortable with, and so on. So I hope seeing the process of doing this will help you start your process as well of changing a bunch of your random functions into a class that's more bound to itself and is easier to work with. Like, you'll see in the future that this is much easier to work with than just a bunch of functions that have a hard time interacting with each other. This, not as much, because it's a single instance. So, if you like this series, leave a comment saying pretty much anything. Leave a like, definitely subscribe if you want to see more content from me, and goodbye.